Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I'm thrilled to stand before you today to discuss an innovation that is reshaping the world of artificial intelligence, as AutoGPT. Before we delve into the intricacies of AutoGPT, let's first understand its predecessor, or its foundation, ChatGPT. Developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT is an AI large language model that generates human-like texts. It's been widely used for various purposes, from writing emails to writing speeches to creating written content or even tutoring in some cases. I'll give you a few examples here. So I will write an email to my Toastmasters friends. And there we go. There's an email to my Toastmasters friends. Some of the other examples I really like are writing a speech, ads, which is the thing that everyone always asks for every time I write this, so let's do it. And it just does it instantaneously. My favorite use case is that it can generally just spit out code. The code has to be somewhat smaller, it can't be too crazy, but if I ask it to write me the code for tic-tac-toe in Python, it's just going to spit out some code. You can implement it. The code isn't always 100% correct because a lot of it comes straight from Stack Overflow, but a lot of it is generated natively inside. It's getting better every day. So you have a basic understanding of coding. You can take what it spits out, make a few corrections, and generally get it up and running pretty quick, which is really fun. So the next iteration here, I'm going to show you different ways to access ChatGPT. And here, I have written a program in Python, and this program is going to access something called an API key. And an API stands for Artificial Programming Interface, I believe. And what that does is it allows two programs to speak with each other. So I've written a very simple program here, and one of the beauties of this is that the API was done very well and it's super easy to call. So I've written a very simple Python program here that's going to call the OpenAI API key, which is basically the same thing we're doing when you run ChatGPT, except that's already inside of a website. So I'm calling it independently. And what I told it to do, I'm asking for the topic of a speech, and I've instructed GPT that it is a distinguished member of Toastmasters and has completed all the pathways. You are an experienced public speaker. Please compose a speech on whatever topic you are given and make sure that the speech is between 875 and 1,050 words. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a topic for a speech. Any requests? We'll do dogs. Oh no. Yikes. Do we need to debug it? I don't think so, because I think it's actually running now. So again, this is going to call the OpenAI API, which is going to allow us to speak directly with the large language model itself. And it's going to print out that speech directly within this program. And one thing I underestimated was the internet speed with the library. I can't really blame that because the other one's coming up so quick. We'll come back to that. The main purpose of this is to show you that I can access the large language model via an API call. And that becomes important when I start talking about AutoGPT. And AutoGPT is a Python program. Oh, here we go. Here's our speech.
It was still thinking.
It's taking its time. So there's our Toastmasters speech. And I can pretty much use that to, again, it's going to ask me for another topic for a speech. I'll give it one. It'll spit it out. And that's how we utilize the API key for OpenAI. So here's another Python program called AutoGPT. What this is going to do is it's going to use something called an agent to create different iterations of that API call and have 4 or 5 different bots being called via that API, speaking to each other within this program. So I want AutoGPT to take over the world. And we're going to let that go into action. And the way this is different from ChatGPT is ChatGPT and the OpenAI API require some kind of human interaction between instances to keep it going. You have to keep asking questions, right? What this is going to do is it's going to take a large-scale problem, and it's going to utilize bots, different instances of the OpenAI API, to come up with an algorithm and run recursively until it solved that algorithm, using all the tools it has at its command. So we see it created a bot called World Conquest GPT. It designed its role as an autonomous agent designed to assist in strategic planning execution of world domination. Here are its goals. Develop a comprehensive and adaptable plan for world domination, taking into account political, economic, and military factors. And it continues. Then it's going to use a browser. The ThoughtBot says it should start by analyzing the current global power structure and identifying potential weaknesses to exploit. A Google search may be a good starting point, by the way. Reasoning, it's going to analyze the current global power structure, yada, yada. And here's the plan. Analyze power structure, identify potential weaknesses, and develop a comprehensive plan for world domination. And my favorite, the criticism bot, it needs to ensure that the plan is adaptable and continuously monitored and adapted as circumstances change. And this does run autonomously and recursively. I have it set to not do so because it costs me money when I use the OpenAI API. So if I let this run for the next 5 days, while it takes over the world, it could cost me a significant amount of cash. But just to show you, I can say, let it run 10 times. And we see it gives you the option for a command Y to the end. So I'm just going to say 10 and let it keep going and see what it does. But as I displayed earlier, we have AI tools that can complete tasks based on human request and natural language. It can even write code based on natural language requests. I've also showed you that we have bots that can take large-scale problems, break them down to algorithms, and utilize tools in order to accomplish those goals, right? It's just a matter of time before those two things are connected. And I want to share with you, today OpenAI released a statement because there's been a lot of controversy, jobs lost, a lot of talk about things like AGI. And they released a statement that started with, given the picture as we see it now, it's conceivable that within the next 10 years, AI systems will exceed expert skill level in every domain and carry out as much productive activity as one of today's larger corporations by itself. And I think if you tie all these dots together and squint a little bit, you can see that right here. Thank you for your time.